Hi, my name is Sylvia and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is the 8th house in astrology. But before we start talking about that, if you're interested in learning more astrology, then you can always feel free to subscribe to my channel. And now let's go back to our topic. Most probably you know that the 8th house is the house of other people's money and resources. It can be the money of your partner or the money of your business partners. It also rules over loans, mortgages, taxes, insurances, investments of all sorts, stock markets, government money, money that are owned to you, tax refunds, um, hidden money as well, like tax evasions and stuff like that. Um, and it can also rule over big businesses and very big money. It also rules the occult, like astrology, um, black magic, white magic, tarot, but it also rules over psychology, psychologists, and of course psychiatrists. On a more emotional and psychological level, this house is the house of our traumas and our anxieties, and it can also talk about panic attacks, feeling threatened by something or someone. But it is also the house that talks about the emotional bonding that we have with a partner in a relationship. It's actually the house of give and receive with other on a psychological level and also on a deeper level. This house also talks about events that happen in our life very suddenly, abruptly, which can be very shocking. Um, these events can turn your life upside down, and they have a very, very big impact on your life and on yourself, to the point that after these events, you can be a different person, or your life can be totally, totally different. Unfortunately, sometimes these events are not really the most positive. It can be the death of someone you loved, it can be divorce, separation, losses of any types, loss of properties or loss of money, bankruptcies, disasters, catastrophes. So if you have planets in these houses, especially personal planets, then uh, most probably you have dealt or you will deal at some point in your life with these events. Now, of course, these events are not always negative. They can be positive sometimes, like let's say you have invested money in a business or in stock markets, and you just very unexpectedly become rich. You make a lot of money, so it doesn't have to be necessarily a very bad thing. But usually, these events that are described by the eighth house are events that they first dissolve, or they just destroy something in your life, and then it rebuilds it back. So it's like the death and the rebirth of something. And all these events are actually meant for us to learn to let go. And usually we have to let go of feelings or emotions or thoughts or habits that are very self-destructive, that don't actually help us in life, even if maybe we are not very conscious about this. This house is also the house of, is one of the houses of conception and giving birth, and even it's the house of pregnancy. So for example, if you have transiting Jupiter through your eighth house, you might probably fall pregnant. That's very possible. Or the North Node transiting in your eighth house can also mean that you can fall pregnant, for example. So, generally speaking, the events that the eighth house bring are usually events that change your life, brings very big changes into your life. And of course, we need to learn to embrace these changes, because um, the more um, the more you you attach yourself to uh, old ways of thinking, or uh, old behaviors, or old patterns, the more difficult it will be for you to go through these events. Now, this house, like I said before, is also the house of healing. And many times, in order for us to heal, first of all, we need to dig deep into our psychic. And it's also about um, seeing um, our shadow, and also being very honest with us about uh, different self-destructive behaviors that we might have. And sometimes people who have planets in this house, especially the moon, they sometimes can attract these events, these transformative or challenging events into their life, because the moon is actually, it talks about what makes us feel comfortable and familiar. So probably in your early life you have experienced different crises of any sorts, or there were many changes into your life, so you are very familiar to that. So it's like you can't live without these events, so you have to be very careful about this. Thank you very much for listening to my description of the eighth house. Goodbye.